Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining me today on this second episode of Las Cruces series Skylines. We are at the old town today because I am going to be working on some detailing. Not a lot, just enough to start making this town look more alive. As I mentioned on the first episode, I want to grow the town into the areas, neighborhoods, and the population that would make look Las Cruces as real as possible. So we are going to do some work here on the main plaza and the city hall. Also, we need to take care of garbage collection. Some of the residents, as you can see on the screen right now, are not receiving that service. So they are not happy at all. I wouldn't be either. I am also going to add a clinic in the Old Town area to produce some additional health services. So what I'm working here is the city hall. Most of the city halls, all of the city halls in Puerto Rico, they have the three flags. They have the United States flag, they have the Puerto Rico flag, and they have the municipal flag. That happens to all public and a lot of private buildings. But to all public buildings, they have to have at least the federal and the state flag. In this case, Puerto Rico is not a state, but it is a territory of the United States. So after the 1952 approval of the Constitution of Puerto Rico, the American flag has to go on the left side, the Puerto Rico flag on the right side. After that, the municipalities can have their flags right in front of their buildings. In this case, I do not have a custom flag made for Las Cruces, so I grabbed this flag from the Steam workshop. I chose this one because I usually do my flags blue, and this one has a cross. So Las Cruces in English means the crosses. That is not why I named this town Las Cruces. I named this town Las Cruces because my second last name is Cruz, which means the cross. So this one in particular, I added a few more crosses, if you will, and just made it plural. You're looking at the first hotel in Las Cruces, and it's a very small hotel, very old style hotel that has that Spanish Caribbean architecture. That was from the Cuba asset collection. Over here, I'm adding a gas station, and I chose Shell on purpose because Shell has been in Puerto Rico for a very long time, and there's always a Shell in almost every town. So this particular gas station gives Las Cruces a little bit of realism in making it look like the rest of the island. I'm adding also a Walgreens right across the street from this clinic and from the Shell station. This particular crossing right here, this particular intersection here, is very similar to other intersections in real life. Puerto Rico, you will see Walgreens in the corner, and in a lot of places you will have a gas station. Most of them would be Shell. So I'm very sure we'll be moving this clinic from this area, as I plan to upgrade this road to an avenue in the future, so it can collect more traffic for the businesses that are on it. This is a very small movie theater. I chose this one because it looks like from a very small town, and it looks like the ones that used to be in Puerto Rico a while ago. Small, probably just one screen, and people would gather around, go by the plaza, the main plaza, get some ice cream, get some food, and go watch a movie. So I like it a lot. And I placed it right there, so when you're driving down the road, that's what you see. And right next to it, it's a series of businesses. This is from the Main Street America collection in the Steam workshop. I like it. We do have some buildings that are very similar to these buildings. It blends in well because if you come visit the center of the towns in Puerto Rico, you will have Spanish looking, really old buildings next to American looking buildings, and from all the decades, um, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the more newer builds. So I think it's a really good blend of different buildings. This blend of buildings respond to the history of Puerto Rico. In 1492, the Spanish arrived on the island. 400 years later, in 1898, the Spanish-American War broke between the United States and Spain. Spain lost the war. The Americans arrived on the island on July 25th, 1898. So for over 100 years now, we've been having the American influence in architecture also. So it is common for you to see a very old styled Spanish architecture next to American style architecture. So this farmacia that I placed here, it's a pharmacy. The name is in Spanish. That's from the Mexico asset collection that I found on the Steam workshop. I chose it because it has a Spanish name and it is very common, like extremely common, to see local businesses and American businesses and international businesses very close to each other. You have Walgreens and then you have your local pharmacies with Spanish names all around the town. So I thought this asset of the pharmacy made a great contrast. And to finish up this episode, I'm adding a COVID testing site just to go with the times. The other day on an episode of Few Candy, I saw she built a COVID testing site, so I am copying her. Yes. And right here, this is the garbage collection centers. So the city can be cleaned and they have more access to garbage services. So with this, I'm finishing up this second episode. I hope you watched the first one. If not, go take a look. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.